Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Clarkdale Town Council on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024 at 3 p.m. in the Clark Memorial Clubhouse. Roll call, Vice Mayor Hunsetter.
Here.
Councilmember Babbitt Pierce.
Present.
Councilmember O'Neill, absent. Councilmember Jones.
Present.
And please note that Mayor Prudhomme-Bauer is here. We have a quorum. This is time for public comment. It's third item on the agenda. The town council invites the public to provide comments at this time. Members of the town council may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later time. If you're interested in making comment, I'll just invite you up to the podium. You have 5 minutes to speak, and if anybody is online, and I don't see anybody online, I would ask them to speak also. So is anybody interested in giving public comment at this time? Okay, huh? Yes, come on up. Just state your name and if you're a Clarkdale resident. Oh, we need to turn the microphone
Got
on.
it.
Thanks, Jeannie.
I'm a proud Clarkdale resident. I would like to say, after reading Susan's wonderful newsletter every week, our police department is incredible with all the calls they get, and they're always so friendly and so patient. I just want them to know that they are really appreciated. And thanks to all of you for always being here and keeping Clarkdale. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jean. And Chief Taylor is in the back of the room, so he went, yay. Thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to do public comment? Okay, see no one coming up to the podium. Let's move on to reports. In the packet were departmental reports on building permit, magistrate court. Yes, I noticed that we had revenues were way up. We must be having fun with traffic stops. Yes. Water and wastewater report, police department report, Verde Valley Humane Society, and our finance report. Are there any comments anybody wishes to make on any of the reports? Yeah.
Madam Mayor, I would just like to thank our finance department for doing such a great job with our finances, even though it looks like things are moving in the wrong direction because of things like state shared revenue. You guys are doing a great job, and I know that it's just a bump in the road, and we will hopefully reverse the trend soon.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with that. Thank you so much. Any other comments on the reports? Okay, hearing none, let's move on to, we had item 5, which is a memorandum to council of a special event liquor license recommendation. It's just noted that the police department approved a special event liquor license application submitted by Greg Miranda for the Yavapai Hustle event on this weekend, October 26th to 27th. So, and it is in Blowout Wash, but remember, Blowout Wash is really in Clarkdale, not in Cottonwood. And it starts at Clarkdale. So it's our event, right? Yeah. Thank you so much, Chief, for that. Let's move on to item 6, which we have a couple of proclamations on our agenda today. The first one is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And before I read the proclamation, I'd love to have Jesse Johnson, the Executive Director for Verde Valley Sanctuary, come up and speak. Jesse, just push the buttons for on, okay, and just state your name and who you represent.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, and councilors. Jesse Johnson with Verde Valley Sanctuary. The time has come for us to stop considering domestic violence a family or private issue because it impacts entire communities. Today, we recognize the important roles of public and private sectors, nonprofit organizations, communities, and individuals in helping to prevent and address domestic violence and create a culture that refuses to tolerate abuse. Domestic violence affects thousands of people here in the Verde Valley and across Arizona. It causes significant harm to the physical and mental health of survivors and their families, and undermines their economic stability and overall well-being. In calendar year 22, 101 victims of domestic violence lost their lives in Arizona. While significant progress has been made in reducing domestic violence and improving services and support, much work remains to be done to expand prevention efforts and provide greater access to safety and healing. The Verde Valley Sanctuary began over 30 years ago, and our mission is to provide safety services and comfort to survivors of domestic and sexual violence. In fiscal year 23-24, our agency provided more than 7,500 services to over 1,400 survivors of domestic and sexual violence, which included over 7,000 bed nights of emergency shelter, over 2,600 bed nights of transitional housing, and we answered over 1,000 crisis hotline calls. Our agency also made nearly 100 prevention education presentations to youth. During National Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, we honor the tremendous dedication of advocates and service providers. We honor the courage and resilience of survivors, and recommit ourselves to standing with them for safety, dignity, and justice. There is still much work to do, and it will take all of us to do it. On behalf of Verde Valley Sanctuary, we thank you, Madam Mayor and Madam Vice Mayor and councilors for proclaiming October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Thank you so much, Jesse. And before I read the proclamation, I just want to give a shout out to our police department, which is our recognition of the Purple Arch for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Thank you so much, Chief Taylor, on that. So the proclamation we have today before us is, whereas domestic violence is a pattern of coercion, control, and abusive behavior used to gain and maintain power and control over an intimate partner that can include isolation from family and friends, financial, emotional, or physical abuse, and sexual assault. Domestic violence knows no bounds and impacts everyone regardless of race, religion, age, gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, and geographic location. And whereas 41% of women, 26% of men have reported experienced contact sexual violence, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. And whereas domestic violence is a public health issue that affects all of us, and to address it, we must apply our collective attention, resources, and interventions to address the consequences of domestic violence and the myriad of other issues, including mental and behavioral health, homelessness, and substance use disorders. And whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month is a national campaign dedicated to raising awareness about domestic violence, every October, organizations and individuals unite across the nation for a national effort to uplift the needs, voices, and experience of survivors. And the Town of Clarkdale Council is proud to join in this effort. And whereas partnerships with community organizations, healthcare providers, and law enforcement help provide support for survivors, including trauma-informed advocates and support for those seeking help. And whereas survivors don't have to go it alone when they are ready, they have resource help, including our own Verde Valley Sanctuary, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, the Arizona Coalition to End Sexual and Domestic Violence Helpline, and Arizona 211. Therefore, be it proclaimed that this day, this 16th day of October, and that's when we did this, 2024, by the Town of Clarkdale Council, that October 24th is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So with that, thank you so much, Jesse, for being there. And I would love to take a motion to approve this proclamation.
So moved.
There a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Mayor Hunsetter and seconded by Council Member Babbitt Pierce to approve the proclamation declaring October 2024 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you, and I'm going to present this to both of you, Brian and to Jesse. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay. And we have a second proclamation on our agenda today. This is the Extra Mile Day. Whereas Extra Mile Day 2024, we've done this proclamation before, so it's coming back yearly. Whereas the town of Clarkdale is a community that acknowledges that a very special vibrancy that exists within the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. Whereas the town of Clarkdale is a community that encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And whereas the town of Clarkdale is a community that chooses to shine a light and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go the extra mile to make a difference and lift up fellow members of the communities. And whereas the town of Clarkdale acknowledges the mission of Extra Mile America is to create 550 extra mile cities in Arizona, it is proud to support Extra Mile Day on November 1st, 2024. We as now, therefore, we, the mayor and the council of the town of Clarkdale, do hereby proclaim November 1st, 2024 to be Extra Mile Day. And we urge each individual in the community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile, but to acknowledge all those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, country, and a world a better place. And with that, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Mayor Hunsetter and second by Councilmember Jones to approve the proclamation declaring November 1st, 2024 as Extra Mile Day in the town of Clarkdale. All those in favor of the proclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you so much. And we'll just put this in our proclamation area. Okay, let's move on to item 7, which is consent agenda. We have 3 items on our consent agenda this afternoon: approval of our minutes of the Common Council of October 8th, acceptance of drainage easements on Lanny Lane, in addition to the Selma Mangini Park lease agreement. Any 3 of these items do we wish to pull for further discussion? Okay. No? Let me just tell you a little bit about B and C because they're kind of different. We haven't seen these. The acceptance of the drainage easement on Lanny Lane is situated between 920 and 910 Lanny Lane. It's to mitigate erosion and water runoff effects in that area on that road. And the addition to the Selma Mangini Park lease agreement is to include the dugout parcel, which was not a part of the original parcel in the agreement. So that will become ours also. Okay. If we don't want to pull anything for discussion, I'll take a motion to approve consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve consent agenda items A through C as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Babbitt Pearson, seconded by Vice Mayor Hunsitter to approve consent agenda items A through C as presented. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, hearing none, motion carried. Okay, let's move on to item 8, new business, and it's a town residential trash services. And this is a discussion only item, but we will be opening up to a public comment after our presentation. Welcome, Virginia. Tell us what's going on.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. It is actually pleasantly to say that we have had a couple quiet weeks in our office with not so many phone calls. Trash pickup has gone fairly smoothly over the past couple of weeks since we last talked. Staff met with Waste Management, some different individuals, worked out some of the processes, asked a few more questions. Couple of things that they are going to do is give us a copy of the routes so we have a better idea of where they're at in their routes. We are going to add cans to our recycling center. I did get feedback on that today. That was one of the items we talked about at the meeting. We're going to have to look at some new signage to let the public know that that is available, that it actually, you can put everything in any one of those compartments or dumpsters, as long as it's not bagged in a plastic bag that are bad for their system. And it'll all get separated out. And they do have a video on their website, but we can do the cans for beverage and foods, as well as all of the other items that we have been accepting. We spent the past couple of weeks straightening out some of the transition billing, which is almost cleaned up. And I think that is it. Do you have any questions?
Any questions or comments from council before we open up to public comment?
Just yay.
Okay. Let's hear what member of the audience wants to speak about, and then if there's any more comments. So why don't I go ahead and open up, if agreed, we'll open up to public comment, and we have Chris Taylor would like to speak. Come on up, Chris, and just state your name and if you're a Clarkdale resident.
Yes, my name is Chris Taylor. Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. My wife, Tandy Taylor, is also here. We've been residents of Clarkdale for over 20 years now. We are the owners of Taylor Waste. We're out of Cottonwood, so we're here locally. And I just wanted to introduce ourselves and let you know that we would be very happy to be able to, if it is opened up for a proposal, an RFP, that we'd be more than happy to be able to submit a bid for the town to be able to hopefully help transition and help things go even smoother. So, and that's, I just want, we've been in business for 24 years now. We've been voted best trash service for the Verde Valley for 22 years, and in Sedona for 19 years. So I think a lot of people love our service. So any questions?
Any questions of Chris? Any comments? I appreciate you coming here and speaking. As you see, it's on our agenda just to keep on top of what's going on. As we know, it's been not an easy transition to waste management. The contract with the town is not up until May next year, and it's going to be the first of the year before we decide what path we take. So
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And yes,
I just
Chris,
had one
stay there.
question.
Sure.
What landfill do you use when you dispose, when you're working for Sedona or Cottonwood, any of
Oh, what landfill?
Mhm.
Waste Management loans the landfill. We take our trash and recyclables over to Rimrock. There's a transfer station there. So our trash is taken to their landfill over in Grey Wolf. And then the recycled material is taken down to Phoenix to be processed, the recycled materials.
And may I ask how many trucks you have in your fleet?
Yeah, I'm miscount or I lost count. We've been growing quite a bit. So we have about 15,
Okay.
have 4 on order as
Okay.
well. We've been growing at a rapid pace. So anyway, yeah. So we would, and I appreciate that question. We would be, we would be able to do, if we were to get Clarkdale, we would be able to handle that with our fleet
Okay.
that we have. So
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
by today.
thank you.
Great. Any other comments for Chris? Okay. Virginia, come on up. Any comments for Virginia?
I am just thrilled that Waste Management has gotten it together. A real concern of mine is raising residential trash rates. And so I know that we might have to do that to get curbside recycling back, but the fact they've pulled this out is really, really exciting. So thank you for all your hard work on that, Virginia.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They are also working on numbers for every other week and monthly recycling instead of the rate that they gave us earlier for weekly recycling, just to kind of get an idea of what the interest is for residents as well as the pricing that's going to go along with it.
Right. Because we are trying to judge both, not just the interest for curbside recycling, but sort of at what level, cost level that people are willing to pay for it. Okay. Virginia, thank you for all the work you've done. You've shepherded this through really well, keeping on top of it. And I know it's not been easy at sometimes. And tell your staff, thank you for handling the calls and inquiries from all of our residents. It's very much appreciated by us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let's move on to item 8B, which is application to the Friends of the Verde River Friendly Living Grant. This is to discuss, consider, and act upon the application to Friends of the Verde River Friendly Living Grant of $5,000 for a drinking fountain gray water recycling demonstration system at Selma Mangini Steam Park. And Grants Manager DK Green is here to present.
Thank you,
Welcome,
Mayor.
DK.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Vice Mayor and Council and residents. Well, as always, yes, I'm going to be the one that hits the submit button, but I have done a little bit of the work. Joni and Shell were very helpful in putting this grant application together, so I can't let that go without being said. And to echo what you were saying about what Virginia does for us as well, absolutely goes the extra mile, and I appreciate all the work that everybody does to help me with what I do. This is an exciting grant because it really goes along with the State of the Verde River Watershed Conference that a lot of us attended, and it's a great education element for the steam park. And in meeting with Isaac, and his last name slips my mind now, but I went on a field trip with him at the conference. And his field trip was all about not just water conservation, but water capture and preventative measures to prohibit runoff and drainage. And when I heard about this and I told him about the application that we were thinking about submitting, he was very excited to hear it. And he was excited to receive the application. So that's why I'm here presenting this, so that hopefully we can improve this and get this submitted. But it's for a drinking fountain at the park. It's simple in concept, but it's really beautiful in design, that the drainage of the water that's not consumed at the water fountain will not drain into the wastewater system. It's going to go directly through a pipe and into a demonstration type irrigation box, so that it can be used for an education piece before it then goes directly into a planted area of low water used desert friendly plants, so that water will be drained directly from the fountain gray water into the planted area. And that's basically the gist of the concept. It's a $5,000 grant. That's about what we were quoted for the project. And if you approve this, we hope to get the application submitted very soon. Simple as that. If you have any questions.
Yes, Marnie.
I love this idea. I am concerned having it in a public park that maybe people might put things that are not water into the drinking fountain.
Okay.
How would that impact the system?
I cannot answer that question. I don't know. I mean, we'll certainly ask the engineers. I mean, Joni, have
It
you
looks
had
like,
that
it
conversation?
looks like Joni
add
can
that to
answer
the
this
signage
question.
Joni,
that question has come up, and actually this initial project was planned to be gray water from the bathroom sink, and we were really concerned about that. So we did not, after talking to oh my gosh, who did we talk to yesterday? Well, Lou actually said probably nothing that's going to go down there is going to harm the plants. So yeah, it's a small bowl. It's not like people are going to be dumping grease and stuff down there. So it is we pulled it back to a drinking fountain, hoping that the impact would be less. And it's a small amount of plants. It's not like we're watering a big lawn that could be.
So if somebody puts a 2 liter of Coke down the drinking fountain, it's not going to ruin the whole thing.
It might make the plant grow a lot.
And will there be like an interpretive sign that says this water fountain waters the plant? So that hopefully will discourage people.
Right.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Educating the public on how they could do a gray water system at their home as well. So that's the ASU group that are designing the signage for that.
Yeah, and part of another grant that we had applied for through the Arizona Community Foundation will help with some of that other signage as well, educational as well as interpretive for all of those elements.
Great, great. Hey, any other questions? Yes.
Great concept. Thanks for applying for this.
Yeah, no,
Fabulous.
I love it because this is something that came up with DK being at a conference where he took advantage of going on a field trip and brought it back home to implement it here in Clarkdale. And I think that's just a really, really great use of how you saw an opportunity. And thank you, DK, for that. So, yeah. If there's no other questions, I'll take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the River Friendly Living Grant of $5,000 for a drinking fountain gray water recycling demonstration system for Selma Mangini Steam Park.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded moved by Vice Mayor Hunsetter and seconded by Councilmember Pierce to approve the Friends of the Verde River Friendly Grant and authorize the town manager to sign all documents related to this grant should any and all be awarded. Is there any comments on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, DK, on that. Okay, item 8C is service agreement with off-duty management, ODM, renewal, and pay rate increase. This is to discuss, consider, and act upon the renewal of the off-duty management service agreement, including a pay rate increase for Clarkdale police officers for off-duty assignments. And Chief Taylor is here to present. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Town Council. I'm not related to Chris Taylor.
You're not?
But I wish I was. He's a very good, wonderful family. So with that said, I'm before you today asking you to consider renewing the contract that we currently have with off-duty management. It expired on September 30th of 2024. There's a little bit change in the new contract. So I'll kind of give you the 5 things that are a little bit different in the contract renewal. They're fairly minor. Most of them benefit us, which is the insurance coverages have been enhanced to include cybersecurity. So it's part of what we're covered with. The credit card fee is reduced. It has an automatic renewal now, so it can automatically renew. And then it has an inflationary clause regarding off-duty management's administration fee. And then it has a bit of a more lenient contract cancellation clause. So those are the things. Oh, and then the big thing, of course, which I mentioned in the staff report, was it changes our rate from $45 an hour to $75 an hour. And I can kind of go over the reasoning behind that if you'd like, or I'll take questions, whatever.
Any questions? I mean, I think we understand why there's an increase in the rate. Yeah.
Two quick questions. Two quick questions. So that seems like a very generous increase, and I think it's wonderful. Is it going to make it hard to staff the department? Are people going to be more excited to take ODM shifts?
That's a great question. So this contract, just so you know, is kind of twofold. One thing is we don't control how much someone can pay to hire our officers.
Okay.
And that became a bit of a problem because we were paying $45 an hour, but then there was a school safety officer grant that was awarded to the state. And so they wanted every school to have a police officer in it. Some of the schools pay $100 an hour. And so it was fairly difficult for us to find people that wanted to work 4 hours or 2 hours in Clarkdale when they could go down to Phoenix and work for 8 hours, make 800 or 9 hours and $900 an hour. So I believe this is more in line with that and kind of can combat the problems we were having. Because I personally, well, you can, in the contract, it lists the agencies, if we don't take the off-duty job in our own community, it lists the agencies in order that it goes out to next. I personally, I don't like seeing anybody, other than our officers in our community. Nothing against them, but it gives us one-on-one time with our citizens. So yes, I believe it will help tremendously.
Thank you. And then the second question, I did see that if people are on a job that requires a vehicle, the town will be reimbursed for the use of that vehicle. Is there a limit to how far they can take the vehicle? So like if somebody goes to Phoenix, are they taking a Clarkdale vehicle?
So by and large, I require that it be within our service area. Our service area is kind of like 10 miles around the community. However, if there's an ODM job that's required, the vehicle is required in Prescott, but they're requiring a car. We allow them to take their car, and again, the town gets $15 an hour. So even though that car is sitting in that parking lot for 8 hours, we'll get the money for that. So $105.
I want to chime in that I have not authorized them to take the vehicles to Phoenix.
But yeah, and I probably should have said that. We currently, I can't think of any time we've ever taken a vehicle to Phoenix. And to my boss's point, we would require her. I would ask her if we're going to take a car that far, because that's how, and just from my perspective, as well as I'm sure my bosses, that's out of our service area. So if a car breaks down in Phoenix, we have to ask our mechanics to go to Phoenix or have it towed here, and that's just cost prohibitive. It certainly doesn't pay for the $15 an hour.
And I wanted to chime in on something the chief said is, one of the things that we do use ODM for is when we have rentals in this facility that require an officer, which is when we serve alcohol, generally speaking. And not when we serve it, but when the renter serves it. And those are tough jobs. And I've discussed it with a few of you that we are having problems. That's a very tough job for an officer to go when there's 300 people who have all been drinking and we have 2 officers on duty. That's tough duty. And we have had issues. And so, at the rate that we were charging the renters, who would want to sign up for that really tough duty? We were having trouble getting people to volunteer for that duty. And we do want Clarkdale officers at those events. So I'm really happy to see the increase in the rate to more closely match what they can get at other jobs.
Thank you.
So does that then roll into our rental agreement with people and what the rate we're charging?
Yes.
Does that need to get increased? Because that's
They contract directly with ODM for the off-duty officers.
Got it. Okay, so that doesn't come through you. Got it. Okay.
No. Any other comments on this? Yeah. I know that it is needed to get this increase. So I think all of us are happy to look at this and consider it today. And we want our officers to be here for our events.
Yes, I want them here too.
Yeah, that helps. So if there's no other questions for Chief, I'll take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I recommend the council approve the off-duty management ODM service agreement, including a pay rate increase for Clarkdale police officers for off-duty assignments, and to authorize the town manager to execute all documents.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Jones and second by Councilmember Babbitt Pierce to approve the off-duty management services agreement, including a pay rate increase for the Clarkdale police officers for off-duty assignments, and authorize the town manager to execute all documents. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you, Chief. Okay, item 9 is a possible vote to enter executive session. The council may vote to discuss the following matters in executive session pursuant to ARS Section 38-431-03A4 for discussion and consultation with the attorneys of the public body in order to consider its position and instruct its attorneys regarding the public body's position, regarding contracts that are the subject of negotiations in pending or contemplating litigation, or in settlement discussions conducted in order to avoid or resolve litigation, and or Arizona Revised Statute Section 38-431-03A7 for discussion or consultation with designated representatives of the public body in order to consider its position and instruct its representatives regarding negotiations for purchase, sale, or lease of real property. The 2 items in executive session this afternoon is SBA communication, and that's regarding a cell tower amendment to the current agreement that we have, and B is Rayleigh versus the town of Clarkdale. So with that, I'll take a motion to move into executive session.
So moved.
Or second.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Babbitt Pearson, seconded by Vice Mayor Hunsetter, to enter into executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. We're going to leave the room. You're welcome to Please note that we are back resuming our meeting at 4:23 p.m. Following our executive session. So the first one is the SBA communications. Discuss, consider, and act upon the SBA cell tower amendment to 60-year easement. Is there a motion on this?
I'm going to try my best. So I move that we approve the amendment to the 60-year easement and allow the mayor to sign all documents.
You may want to mention for the 77,000.
Oh, excuse me, for the 70. So I move that we approve the SBA cell tower amendment to the 60-year easement for $75,000 and allow the mayor to sign all documents. 77, thank you. 77.
Well, we got it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Babbitt Pierce and seconded by Vice Mayor Hunsetter to approve the SBA cell tower amendment to 60-year easement for $77,000 and authorize the mayor to execute all documents. That clear?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, hearing none, motion carried. Okay, second item, Rayleigh versus the town of Clarkdale. Is there a motion?
I so move that we proceed as directed in executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Council Member Jones and second by Vice Mayor Hunsetter to approve, to direct the town manager to go forward
Proceed as directed.
to proceed as directed in executive session. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, let's move on to item 11, future agenda items. We have the list from Charity. There are several items will be on our next meeting. It looks like, unless some of them get moved to further later meetings. Which one? Okay. Okay. Any other items we need to add on to the agenda or a future agenda? Hearing none, then I will go on to item 12, which is adjournment. I'll take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
Okay.
I will second.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Mayor Hunsetter and second by Councilmember Pat Pierce to adjourn the meeting at 4:27 p.m. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for the meeting today.